Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Narayan Sim. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you are good. Came across a video of a white woman who worked with a conservative media and she quit. See, working with a conservative media comes with a whole lot of baggage or baggages. Number one is that you have to lie. Number two is that you do not have to see people that look like me as human beings. Number three is that you can cook up any story about them and they spread it like wildfire because all those kind of stories sell better than any other story, like calling my people any name and how they fabricate stories about people that look like me not being the best, being this and all that. When we talk about policing black community, you and I know how it's been done. Sometimes I sit back and I think about how bad these people have offended my people and how my own people, the only thing they are fighting for is nothing but dismantling the system that has been oppressing them. If they have the kind of mind they have, trust me, it would have been on a different level. Life for both would have been on a different level. Each time I talk about how the media has painted both my people, Africans and all that, blue to each other just because they do not want unity. They do not want us to unite because they know how powerful we are when all of us come together. But thank goodness that everybody is finding out, deconstructing, relearning, and unlearning. We will get there. Let's get into this.
Hi, I worked in conservative media for 8 years, and working there for so long and seeing how they operate turned me liberal and then eventually turned me leftist, and I quit my job last week. Yes, I know I have a sunburn. Don't talk about my sunburn, okay? I've got it covered. I know I should have quit sooner, but after September 10th, everything escalated so much, and I ended up quitting on the spot Monday morning by responding to a company-wide email from the CEO, but that's another story. Anyways, there's some things about the conservative media industry that you should understand if you're going to continue to consume it. You're being propagandized and you're being exploited. Even in normal times, there's two goals that conservative media has for how they want their viewers to feel. So that first goal, like I mentioned, is that propagandizing factor. They want you to be so scared of people and things that aren't that scary, like trans people, black people, Muslim people, immigrants. There's no such thing as a demographic of people that commit zero crime. Every group of people that you encounter is going to have a few shitheads in them. It's a fact of nature, it's inevitable. So when a member of one of these communities inevitably commits a crime, they're going to elevate that. They're going to make it look like it's a chronic problem when statistically it really isn't. And I don't want to hear anything about 13% of the population, meaning the black community, committing 50% of the crimes. It's demonstrably false. The only reason that the numbers are higher at all with black people is because their neighborhoods and communities are over-policed. Sometimes they'll just make shit up, like the Haitian people eating people's pets. Like, that just wasn't happening, but it doesn't matter that it didn't happen because they propagandized you all into believing it. It is designed to scare you and to make you look to them, to their network, for comfort. They strategize about what to make a big deal out of next to whip up the base. That is the first goal. The second goal is to get the viewers excess money by any means necessary. Have you ever noticed on conservative platforms how like half the ads are for like really scammy products? Trump shoes, Trump coin, supplements that don't work, the world's shittiest pillow, those kinds of things. The reason they try to sell that shit to their viewers is because they know they've already tricked them into voting against their interests. So they figure, why not trick them into buying a shitty Trump teddy bear too? It's shameless and it's obvious. Pay attention to what you're seeing. Pay attention to what they're telling you. Think about what they have to gain from making you hate your neighbor instead of paying attention to the fact that you can't afford your rent, you can't afford a vacation, you can't afford your medicine. Pay attention. Wake up. It's so bad. Listen to me, okay? I was in this. I was inside for 8 years. You are getting scammed. You are getting conned.
If you seriously believe the 13% of the population and 50% of the crime, you need to get fact-checked, and I'm about to do it to you. In 2016, white people committed 70% of the convicted crime, and black people only committed 27%. Then in 2017, white people committed 68% of the reported crime, and black people only committed 26% of it. And in 2024, white people committed 53% of the reported crime, while black people only committed 25%. So this narrative on 13% of the population, 50% of the crime is wrong. You know who actually commits 50% of the crime? White people. But guess what stat black people are 13% of the population and 50% in? Exonerations. You know, when they're wrongly convicted. All you're doing by spreading this fake fact is allowing more people to profile and be racist towards black people. You know what's the highest percentage of people who are victims of white people? Black people. And if you look at all the shootings, guess who are the shooters? White dudes. So let's all think long and hard on who actually commits 50% of the crime.
As we were saying, the black people are the chosen people. That is the reason why their own offspring is coming out here to challenge them, to expose all the lies they have been telling themselves over the years. This is a clear indication that the end is near and things are a bit messy on the other side. So my dear brothers and sisters, we don't even need to tell our own side of the story anymore. We don't need to keep justifying ourselves anymore. We don't need to tell them that we have superpowers anymore because nature is already doing its job. Thank you all for watching this video and let me know what you think about it down there in the comment section. Bye for now.
And in 2024, white people committed 53% of the reported crime, while black people only committed 25%. So this narrative on 13% of the population, 50% of the crime is wrong.
If I am 13% of the population and I commit 25% of the reported crime, that is disproportionate by almost double, okay? Now, if I am 59.3% of the population, I commit 53% of the crime, I am actually underrepresented in crime statistics as a percentage or proportion of my population. So you really need to go back to math class, little Timothy. I know you're trying to be a hero, but come on, okay? So white people are underrepresented in crime statistics as a percentage or proportion of their population, while black people are disproportionately represented as a percentage and proportion of their population. And by the way, 1350 is specific to a certain type of crime, homicide.
So I made a video yesterday that pissed off a lot of white liberals and Democrats. So let's talk about it. I said white people were able to get Jimmy Kimmel back into his spot within a few days, but we couldn't figure out how to organize to shut Alligator Alcatraz down. And damn, some of y'all got so mad, right? Trying to say it's false equivalency, we can't, do anything against the government, all this bullshit. But you know what that shows me? First off, the collective of white people that give a fuck highly undersell what we can do. It also tells me the collective as white people are operating out of freeze and fear. In the way I operate is if I know there's a concentration camp happening in my community, I'm going to have a much larger, angrier response to that than some fucking millionaire white dude that's trying to get back on TV. Because we should have never been here in the first place. But 3 out of 5 white men, 1 out of 2 white women wanted Trump. And so we should have been organized way long ago. We shouldn't even be here with Trump. But white supremacy was never a deal breaker. And so it shows me that we place more value as a collective on this idea of free speech for another white man than we do about immigrant families being kidnapped and taken to goddamn concentration camps. I saw a lot of hopelessness in the comments. I saw a lot of excuses. I saw someone say, okay, yeah, well, millions got out and protested. Yeah, during that No Kings bullshit where the white people that set up the protests colluded with the cops, colluded with the same system that is violent towards black, indigenous people of color every fucking day? The government knew white people would stay in line even with these protests. And the reality is we have to be willing to put skin in the game. And so there are definitely white people in LA, in Portland, that are doing the work, that are putting their bodies on the line, that don't give a fuck about outcomes and consequences for themselves. They are operating not in freeze. They are operating not out of fear. They are operating out of a space of justice and collective humanity. And if we all collectively gave a fuck enough to flip this motherfucker on its head, we do it. If I'm out in public and I see somebody trying to fucking kidnap immigrant families, I'm interfering. I'm not standing there and being like, oh no, oh my God, this is bad, and then going back to eat lunch on a fucking Saturday afternoon. And I had this thought last night. Legality is not equal to morality. And I've talked about this before. But if, hypothetically, slashing a tire on an ICE vehicle brings you more fear than standing up and doing the right fucking thing and organizing your community to stop this bullshit, we need to sit with that. Right? Like, oh my God, I can't do that. I would never do that. That's illegal. You know, I don't want to go to jail. Why? When are we willing to sacrifice something for real? Sacrificing 12 to 2 p.m. on a Saturday to go hold signs and walk around and then tell the internet we're bored isn't doing shit. And you can be mad at me. This won't be the first or last time that happens. And I'm not trying to use shame and guilt as a tool. I'm just having a real conversation. We have the capacity to do way more. But it takes courage and it takes sacrifice. And when there's more of a massive reaction to, again, getting a millionaire white dude back on TV than there is to immigrant families, again, getting kidnapped and put in concentration camps, that's a fucking problem. That's the thing, is white supremacy and the violence that comes from white supremacy so normalized that any real pushback to that gets set aside so that we can do the easier shit and say, hey, I did something. Cool, Jimmy Kimmel got back on TV. Hooray. What the fuck does that mean for immigrant families? What the fuck does that mean for the genocide in Palestine, for the genocide in Congo and Sudan? What the fuck does that mean for the white supremacy violence that's happening across this country? Sure, satire is important. I'm not saying that. But what real change did it make? It saved free speech. Simultaneously, Trump's out here signing shit saying basically anyone that speaks out against him is a terroristic threat. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you asking this genuinely. And I'm realizing I got a whole lot of new followers over the past few days. Because these are things I've talked about over the years. But I'm going to tell you what I did, what worked for me, right? And before I even get into this, let's make it clear that I'm a white man. I recognize I have that privilege off the bat. I'm also a fucking hooligan, loudmouth, who doesn't really operate within a lot of fear. And I'm an extrovert. And not all of us are going to have the same approach, right? But I'm just going to tell you what I did. So hopefully there's some encouragement there. So my moment was in 2020. That's when the fucking kid gloves came off for me. That's when I got real loud, real vocal, and let everybody that was in my circle know exactly where the fuck I stood. I did it on social media, did it in real life. And that will clear out the people real fast that don't really want to do something for real. Now, I know there's fear that comes with that. Some people are like, oh, yeah, some white people are like, yeah, that's too much. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. But you demonstrate courage, right? So I demonstrated courage. I didn't even realize it at the time, but I just fucking did it. I didn't give myself any excuses. I didn't give myself an option to be quiet. And so as a result of that, I lost almost everything in my life. Jobs, relationships, like the list goes on. And that's not a flex. Like, that shit's fucking hard. But everybody knew where I stood, right? And so once I became very vocal and straightforward, again, on social media and in real life, I found my people. I found the people that shared the same courage, even if they didn't know what the fuck to do. And we figured it out. Now, my specific experience is organizing under Black women. So I learned a whole lot. I learned to shut the fuck up. I learned to do what I was told. I helped provide safety, security. I went out and used my white ass voice in our community, in the justice system, in with people that I knew that could make change from different areas within our community. Gathered resources, know where food trucks were, mental health resources, medical resources. I reached out to people I didn't know. I got outside of my comfort zone. And it's one of those things when you know shit has to change and I have to do something and I cannot give myself an out. So I figured it out. I made mistakes, pissed some people the fuck off, but I learned along the way. And so my community is going to look different than your community, right? Where I live is going to be way different than where you live. And so there are going to be different things, different tactics, things like that might apply to me that don't apply to you. And again, as a white man, I have way more of privilege to operate out of it within this whole thing. So get loud. I mean, I don't know you. I haven't even honestly checked out your profile. Get loud on social media, get loud in person, have conversations with your family, with your friends. Let them know exactly where you stand. Let them know you are going to figure out how to change things in your own community. And they can either come along with you or watch you. And so the final piece for me, and again, this isn't a flex, but this is something I've talked about a few times, was being in Louisville for Breonna Taylor protests and with that community down there. And I had an experience where, some white supremacists pointed their guns at us and had fingers on the trigger, and we all had to run away. And that's where it really clicked in with me that this is what I potentially have to sacrifice in order to make change, move forward, stand for collective humanity, find my own humanity. I had to come face to face with myself in that moment. I had to choose whether or not that was too much for me, if this was too scary for me. And that thought didn't even cross my fucking mind. I just kept pushing forward, kept moving forward, kept organizing, kept learning, kept educating myself. And so my encouragement to you is to demonstrate courage, to stand up, to use your voice, and that will draw people to you that want to make change but don't know what the fuck to do. And then we figure it out together, right? And I think that's really hard for people that live in, another comment I was talking about, someone lives in a red state and they have nobody. Well, then we figure out people online, right? We figure out communities. I've been tagged in it a few times. There's this community called Eager, where it's all white people. We're just trying to figure out how to move forward together and put shit together as a collective to address our own, collective trauma, learning how to regulate our feelings, learning how to figure out what we can do in our communities, learning from each other, from what we're doing in our communities. But I know it feels scary for some people. And especially right now in this time where, you have all this bullshit coming out from Trump and the fucking government, all these threats and shit. Black, indigenous people of color, the queer community, immigrant families live under the threat of violence every fucking day. This is a lot of white people's first time feeling any type of fear surrounding that. So a lot of white people retreat, go back to being quiet, maintain my comfort. Meanwhile, the violence continues on. But that can't be an option if we want to move forward. You and I have the same capacity as John Brown or other white people that have stood up and fought for collective humanity. We have that same capacity inside of us. We just have to step into that power and believe we can truly make change. And if we start acting out of that, other people will join in because they see, oh shit, he doesn't look scared. She doesn't look scared. They don't look scared. Or they are scared and they say it out loud, but are choosing to move forward regardless. I don't know. That was a lot. Jesus Christ. Anyways, hopefully there was something
This
to
is
take
all
away
from this
that.
video, and a
Thank
very
you
big
for your
shout out to
question.
everybody. I think the lady that talked about media, conservative media, and all of that, it's something that Black people know so much. And I don't know if you listen to my commentary, you definitely will hear me talking about how Black community has. Why am I having goosebumps? How Black community is over. How they're sending more cops. It's over police. That is the right word to use. It's over police. And crime rate is not as we think. And this is not something that is new. It is not new to me. And for those that it is new to, I have remembered that so many Black people, content creator that I respect so much, have taken their time to break all this down. How crimes are, but not just only Black people too. You can also see them too talking about it. But because the media know how to do their thing, so my people are always the ones to talk about. And I have been also telling you people in most of my commentaries, why is it that I am like recently, it was my friend that called me to clarify something, because like all my friends are already picking interest in Black history and all that. And there are some certain things they see online. They call me to make clarification. And the last one I had, I woke up to the video about a Black man who was in prison for 30 years, only for them to find out that he didn't do anything. This is not new. It has happened. I have seen hundreds of videos about it. And the fact that they do all this without even making proper investigation. Some people that also look like me are no more because they were given death penalty for no reason. It is not something new, but the system should actually be dismantled. Because people that look like me are always at the receiving debt, and mass incarceration, it's something very high. I am sure that we are no longer hearing about Robinson Tyler anymore, Tyler Robinson, wherever his name is. That is how it works. Because at some point they were like, oh, we need to bring back by hanging, and then before we could say Jack, it means that they have to pray for him because he is an innocent soul. I am not so good talking about all this because I've been having constant goosebumps. Now, I am sure in the next how many years we may not hear anything about it. If only he is even the right person that did that, because this administration can do and undo. We may end up not hearing it again. And before you know what is going on, maybe in the next few years, if it is true, you hear that he's on bond. Yeah, story. I have seen so many videos of white cops. And it's so common for white cops to unalive people that look like me. But it's very uncommon. You would never, ever see a Black cop unaliving a white person. That's how far they have seen us, and how far they do not think that we deserve kindness, we deserve grace, we deserve mercy, we deserve love, we deserve to be questioned like human beings. There are some videos that I see on the internet where the cops probably took in Black people to interrogate them. You will cry. I remember trying to watch one that I did not watch it because the first video was all of them trying to unalive him by beating, hitting, and all that. He was not even saying anything. He was just at a corner seated waiting for them to, and then they came in, started. It is so common. We have seen cases of Black people being unalive just for calling the cops. And in the end, they serve for 1 year and they are out. And they can go back to their respective field or whatever. And then Black people warned about immunity before. Now, it is really, I don't know, but it's really very sad to me talking about all this. It's so sad that people you trust they are going to protect you. Sanyamasi, that was how she didn't see the light anymore, because she also told them, please do not harm me. And they ended up harming her. This has always been the case. We do not deserve grace. We do not deserve mercy. They go about lying about Black people when they know fully well the people that are committing the crimes. You know, sometimes I am like, did Black people do anything aside from them being Black? They didn't do anything. But this is how far some people can go to make you believe that my people are the bad people. They are the savages. And the media ended up selling BS to us. That's why deconstructing, unlearning, relearning, they are very important for any human being, whether you come from anywhere. I don't care where you come from. It's very vital because we need to unpack the rubbish some of us digested like they were telling us the truth. And finding out that they were all lying. And they are still lying to this very moment. I remember reading about how Black man was unalive back then because he entered the same elevator with a white woman, and the woman ended up saying that she looked at her in a kind of way, or he whistled. A boy that came on vacation today. See, if we talk about this history, sincerely speaking, I do not want to have anything to do with them, because everything they have shown to my people does not exude Christianity, does not exude humanity, does not, I don't know, it doesn't exude anything. It doesn't tell that, some people are human beings. It just, I have this feel of talking with non-living thing or operating with non-living thing. Even a robot, before you dismantle a robot, especially the one that is always at your service, you will think twice. Your pets, the same thing. But human beings do not get the same. I will draw the curtain here. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.